Okay. So I'm going to go hit one of these lights. Y'all tell me if you can see it okay. Is that a little bit better? Maybe? Okay. So we're not going to go over all of them. Thank you, Ms. Just. Right? That'd be boring. Okay? We are going to go over the ones that the majority of you missed. So I'm going to try and make it as engaging and exciting as possible. But how exciting is ACT English? So can you do me a huge favor? If you got the question right, I'm going to be so proud of you. But I still want you to hear my explanation because the explanation will be similar to so many of the other ones that you might have gotten wrong, okay? So let's start question number 4 at the bottom of 436. Question number 4. The first thing I told you to do is to look at the answer choices. What does this one look like it's going to be testing us on? Grammar. Great. Do you see that there's a period, and then there's not a period, and then there's a period on G, H, and J? So what's it testing me on?
Punctuation.
Punctuation. Periods, right? I need to know, is the sentence before the period complete? And is the sentence after the period complete? If they are, then a period will work, right? So let's look at the way it's written just as is. She made everyday chores meaningful when she set to work. Hard and easy tasks alike were undertaken as acts of love. Does that even sound right? It sounds like a run-on sentence. It's too much information. What did we say if there's 2 commas surrounding a phrase? What does that tell me to do? Take it out. It's extra information, right? So the way that it's written, I should be able to take it out and it still sounds good. So I'm going to read it to you that way and let's figure it out. She made everyday chores meaningful. Hard and easy tasks alike were undertaken as acts of love. She made everyday chore tasks meaningful, period. Hard and easy tasks alike were undertaken as acts of love, period. Do I need a period to separate 2 complete sentences? Yes, so I can't leave this as is. Even if I were to take the extra information out, I'm still missing a period to complete my thought. So can I use letter F, no change? No, it's a run-on. I need a punctuation to tell me to stop or pause, right? So I'm not going to use F. Let's look at G. There's a period there. Does that make me feel a little bit better? If there's a period, it has to be a complete sentence. Let's check it. She made everyday chores meaningful, period. Is that a complete sentence? She made everyday chores meaningful. Complete. It sounds good to me, right? And then let's keep going. When she set to work, hard and easy tasks alike were undertaken as acts of love. Okay? Now the way that I just read it, did you hear me kind of pause a little bit after the word work? When she set to work, hard and easy tasks alike were undertaken as acts of love. Does it sound appropriate with a pause there? Okay, I'm going to read it to you now the way G says it with no pause. Hard and easy tasks, when she set to work, hard and easy tasks alike were undertaken as acts of love.
For reading, all right.
That's too much information, right? It's blah, blah, blah. I need a pause. So do you see that G and J are the same thing, but I really needed a pause at the end of the word work to make my sentence sound whole. Do you see? I'm going to read it one more time without the pause, and then I'm going to read it with the pause. Here we go. She made everyday chores meaningful, period. When she set to work, hard and easy tasks alike were undertaken as acts of love. Or, she made everyday chores meaningful, boom. When she set to work, hard and easy tasks alike were undertaken as acts of love. Which one sounds better? The one with the pause. The one with the pause. So it's got to be letter J. Do you feel better? Was that one tricky? I think a lot of us missed that one. Okay, so we got to be sure that we know where to stop and when it's a complete sentence. Okay, very next one. Look at number 5. Okay, number 5. What's my favorite C of the 4 C's? My favorite C.
Concise.
Concise. What does concise mean? Short and sweet. And we said that's most likely going to be the right answer unless, and here's where number 5 is really important. If the sentence is so concise that it's vague, that it's not clear. Is clear another C that we need? So if it's so concise that I don't even know what the sentence is saying, I don't even know what it's talking about, then clear is going to be more important. So let me read this sentence to you. Question number 5. I love dinner preparations. No tasks seemed more magical than it. Than what? Does it tell me the information I need to know? So it's almost too concise. It's too vague. Now, normally concise is good if it tells me what I need to know. But does this tell me what I need to know? It's very vague. So let's take a look at an answer choice that's going to tell me a little bit more information. Just a tiny bit more. Look at letter A. I'm not going to leave it like that. It's too vague. Letter B. No tasks seemed more magical than those of the kitchen. The previous sentence says, I loved dinner preparations. Where do you prepare dinner? In the kitchen. So does those of the kitchen tell me a little bit more information? Does that one sound better than it? Right? Okay, so do you see why I'm not going to keep this one, but I might keep, oops, where's that? Those of the kitchen. So, right here. Okay? But then notice, I've got another one that looks just like it. So first of all, what did I do with A and C? Cross it off. It was too vague. Okay? But B and D look almost the same. What is the only difference? Then versus than. So if you forgot which one to use, if you forgot, okay, let me remind you. Then, with an E in, then shows me sequence. First was this, then came this, next came that, finally came that. Are we talking about first and next and then and second and fifth and finally the? That's not what this one says, okay? So if I want to use then, it's got to be in a sequence order. If I use then, it's everything else. So in this example, it's everything else except sequence, right? So which one is going to be better, B or D? D, there. Do you feel better about then versus than? Do you feel better about concise versus clear? Okay, if it just says it and you don't know what it's talking about, then concise is not the best choice. I need a little bit more information. Do you feel okay? Are the light bulbs coming on? Are these 2 questions that you did miss on your paper? No? Yeah. Some. Okay. You feeling better now? All right. Is there anybody in the room that did not get their Scantron back from Saturday's test? Okay. Miss Andrews, if you guys have any extra Scantrons, we have 1, I think, in here that still doesn't have yours. Okay. Let's flip it now to number 12. We're going to the next page, 438. Number 12. All right. Okay. Were you here? Ah, there we go. Okay, number 12. So I need the whole sentence, right? Which means that I'm going to have to go backwards a little bit because my page starts with the middle of the sentence, right? So I'm going to go all the way back to start at the beginning. It says, eventually, I became resigned to the fact that my favorite food was only available over visits home or after grandma's death in my dreams. Okay, so the word over, is that the best use in this example, or should I use the word when? Eventually, I resigned to the fact that my favorite food was only available when visits home. That don't even make sense. What do I do with that one? Cross it out. I resigned to the fact that my favorite food was only available before visits home. Before she got there, she got to eat her favorite food? No, her grandma was the one that made it. She has to eat it when she goes home. Okay, what do I do with H? Cross it off. Or finally, I resigned to the fact that my favorite food was only available on visits home or after grandma's death. Does on make sense? And does over make sense? So at this point, we want the one that's plain and simple. The one that's going to be easy. If I said over, it could work, but it's not as direct as when I make a visit home. I went on a visit. I went over for a visit. In this case, on sounds better. All right, if you missed this one, did you pick letter F? And if you did, it was tricky. I could have gotten messed up on that one. I might have picked F too because it still sounded okay. In this instance, we want the one that sounds the best, so on is the best choice. That one's hard. I'm sorry if you missed that one. Okay, let's flip it to number 13, the very next one. Which choice indicates most specifically how the narrator felt about her access to the dish she craved prior to her mother's suggestion? Now, this whole time has she been whining and crying about her grandma passing away and she can't remember how to make that dish, right? That's a really sad situation. Do you agree? She misses her grandma, so she's sad. She doesn't remember the recipe for the dish. She's even more sad, and now she can't enjoy the dish that was her absolute favorite from her grandmother. Right? Okay, so if that's the case, what are her emotions right now? Happy? Sad. Which one?
Sad.
Very sad, right? She's emotional about the circumstance. The question right now is asking, which of these choices here tells me how she feels? Okay, so I'm going to replace these words, and you tell me if that matches her emotion. After hearing this lament, have you heard of the word lament? Have you heard of the book in the Bible called Lamentations? Lamentations throughout the whole book is just talking about Jeremiah, who encountered a whole bunch of nonsense in his life, and he's going, I can't even do the meal. Okay, is that a bunch of complaining and sad and oh my gosh? Lamentations. Do you now understand what the word lament probably means? Whining, sad, complaining, down. Does lament match how this person feels? Okay, so let's keep that one in mind, right? And then let's keep going. After hearing this explanation, does that tell me how she feels? Does that tell me she's so sad? What am I going to do with B? I need the words emotional. I need to know how she is feeling, okay? After hearing this story, does that tell me, no. After hearing this long tale, does that tell me, no. What's the best choice? A. If you missed it, it's probably because you didn't know what the definition of lament means. Now you know. You're going to be better if you see it again. Yes, very good, very good. Just remember my face and my whining like a little baby, okay? All right, let's change it now to question number 19. 19 on the next page. Okay, this one was another tricky one. Even I would have missed this one, so I hope that makes you feel better, okay? Number 19, with the benefit of an unusually extensive education, Lovelace had excelled in many subjects. After meeting Babbage, though, she concentrated on mathematical theories and methods, okay? So the only thing they're testing here are commas, right? After meeting Babbage, though. Does it make sense to pause? After meeting Babbage, though, she concentrated on mathematical theories and methods. Does that one sound okay? Yes. So you could have picked no change. However, that is the mistake that Ms. Just made, and I'm about to show you why that is not the best choice, okay? Let's look at letter B. Notice that there's a comma before though and after though. What does the comma surrounding this word really tell me to do?
Pull it out.
Extra information. Could I take out the word though and the sentence still makes sense? Let me read it to you. Lovelace, oh, I can't read it off the board. With the benefit of unusually extensive education, Lovelace had excelled in many subjects. After meeting Babbage, she concentrated on mathematical theories and methods. Still makes sense? So which one tells me extra information is okay? Letter B. That is the correct answer. Do you feel better now? And if you missed this one, was it because you picked A? Whatever. If you picked anything else, it's no big deal, but I just want you to know surrounding commas means extra information. If you can pull it out and it still makes sense, that is the right answer. Feel better? Exactly. Double commas, when it's surrounding a phrase, means you can take that whole phrase out, but it still has to make sense. If it doesn't make sense, you don't pick the answer that's surrounded by commas because it's a trick. Cool? Everybody's better? Very good. Okay, let's go to number 22 at the bottom of this page. What do you automatically notice about question number 22 when you look at it? Ugh! Who has time for that? Right? So what did you do? B, move on. We got to hurry, 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 right? So if you missed this one, I'm understanding why, okay? But if you tried it, it is important to at least know which one is the best answer. So at this point, the writer is considering dividing the paragraph into two. Making this change would help organize the essay by separating. It talks about in the entire article that Lovelace was never really recognized for her work. She was an awesome contributor to the field of mathematics and to computer programming, but she wasn't recognized for it until after she what? Died. Okay, that's the theme of the whole thing. So if I were to read all of these answer choices, I'm going to take you down to the last one, letter J. An introduction to Lovelace's translation from details that established why it was so extraordinary. In this beginning paragraph up here, it talks about all of her contributions. But then at the very end, and even into the next page, it talks about blah, blah, blah. Finally, it was widely regarded as the first computer program. Wow. Okay, so the reason why J is the right answer is because it basically says it introduced her contributions and then it explained why it was so extraordinary. If you missed it, probably just because you guessed. You guys okay? Yeah. All right, let's flip it now to number 23, the very next one. 23 makes no sense the way that it's written. Okay, I'm going to read it to you. If you picked no change, oh my. Okay, I'm going to flip it to the back. Here we go. It says, Babbage proposed that in his machine, such a card could specify mathematical operations. Lovelace quickly grasped this idea's immense potential and strove to demonstrate it. Okay, you had to keep reading because this word continues into this sentence. So I'm going to read this to you right now, and you tell me if this makes any sense. This idea's immense potential and strove to demonstrate it. What idea? What in the world are they talking about? Is that a complete sentence? No. So can I leave it as is? No. No changes, gone. Okay, let's figure out which one sounds better. I need to break up the sentence somewhere. I'm going to read it to you where I think it sounds good if I were to put a period here after operations. So here we go. Babbage proposed that in his machine, such a card could specify mathematical operations. Is that a complete sentence?
No.
I'm going to read it to you again. Babbage proposed that in his machine, such a card could specify mathematical operations.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Lovelace quickly grasped this idea's immense potential and strove to demonstrate it. Much better. Complete sentence, complete sentence. What does it need in the middle? Period. Okay? So does B tell me exactly what I need to know? Period after operations, everything else keeps going. Right? Anything else give me a period where I need it? Nope. So which one is my best answer? B. You stop it where it makes sense. Find your complete sentence, pause, put a period. Find your next complete sentence, put a period. You feeling a little bit better? Okay. Good, good. Very next one, 24. Here we go. Are widely, have wide, is widely. It's testing what tense we are in. So we need to verify what tense does it actually tell me in the passage. Today. When? Today. Not yesterday, not tomorrow. Okay? Today. Her outline of the input data needed to calculate certain numbers is widely accepted. When? Today. Okay? Does today have been match?
No.
Because have been is when? In the past. Okay? Does today are widely regarded? Are widely regarded, maybe. But is widely regarded because of the subject of what it's talking about. Her outline is widely regarded. Is her outline are widely regarded? See, if you break the sentence up and verify what's supposed to match, you will find your answer. Her outline is widely regarded. Do you feel better about that? If you picked are, you got the right tense, but you mixed up the subject. You thought it was plural when it was really singular. Are we okay on that one? Anybody still confused? Okay, by the way, let's do a quick check. After going over the ones that we're going over so far, are you having some aha moments of, oh my gosh, I should have known that one? Yeah, a little bit. So do you feel a little bit more confident thinking about this Saturday, which is the last Saturday, by the way? Yeah, this Saturday. Are you going to feel a little bit better going into it with this information? Are you going to feel a little bit better this Saturday?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Thank you. This group here, could I see some enthusiasm? Are you going to feel a little bit better this Saturday? Okay, good. Love it. All right, let's take a look at number 27. Okay, notice what's changing in 27. We've got foreshadowed, which is when? In the past. Foreshadowing, right now, okay? Or deleting the whole thing altogether. So let's see. It starts way up here. Lovelace's suggestion that such a machine could produce diverse things, scientific analysis, visual images, and music, foreshadowed. Because when was Lovelace alive? A long time ago. Did she already die? So we automatically know it's in the past. So is it to foreshadow in the future?
No.
Foreshadowed. Everybody feel okay? Easy breezy. I think if you missed that one, you were tired. That's it. Okay? Number 30. We're going to go over to number 30. Why would anybody maybe miss number 30? But, right? But, I'm going to give you a big hint. Even if it's a really long one and you say, I don't have time, Miss Just. Notice, what are the first words of every answer? Yes or no. So at least identify what the question is. If you know for sure that you could say it's yes or it's no, then take the time to do it because it's either 50-50, okay? Suppose the writer's purpose had been to discuss a mathematician whose work was remarkable but did not receive great recognition during her lifetime. Is that exactly what we just talked about? She contributed so many great things, but nobody noticed it until when?
She died.
After she died. Would this essay accomplish that purpose? Yes! That's exactly what they just told me. She did a whole lot of stuff and then, oh gosh, too bad she died. Right? Now she's really great. So am I going to say yes, she accomplished that purpose, or no?
Yes.
I'm going to say yes. If I can automatically say yes, I got a 50-50 chance, just try it. Okay, let's figure out which one sounds better. Yes, because it proves that Lovelace improved on Babbage's work to change the course of computer science. She improved his work, okay? Yes, because it recounts the story of Ada Lovelace's pioneering work in her field and of the recognition she received decades after her death. Which one is the most truthful, the most factual? G. How easy was that if you just took the time? So if you see yeses or nos, but it sounds really long, give it a shot. Because it's 50-50 if you really know what it's talking about, okay? If you read this question and you said, I don't know, that was too much information, I can't remember what it was even talking about, move on. Cool? Okay. All right, let's look at number 32 at the bottom. 32 at the bottom was hard. Guess what? Miss Jess would have missed it. Does that make you feel better? It was another tricky one, okay? Given that all the choices are true, which one would provide the most effective introduction to the paragraph, okay? An introduction is something that's going to connect this thought to this paragraph. Are we okay with that so far? The introduction has to match. Boom, boom. Cool? So this last sentence here, since some of the active volcanoes sit, I can't read that off the board. Since some of the active volcanoes sit near populated towns and cities, predicting future eruptions is essential. What's essential? Predicting future eruptions, okay? Look at what's already written here for the no change. National volcanoes, warnings, 54 volcanoes pose a high threat, high risk to public safety. Does any of that sentence tell me about predicting future eruptions? That's just a lot of great factual information that has nothing to do with my next paragraph, right? What am I going to do with no change? Cross it out. I need something that has to do with predicting future eruptions, okay? Look at G. This task is the responsibility of volcanologists. Do volcanologists predict future eruptions? Ding, ding, ding. And then I need to make sure that it also matches the next sentence. The field of volcanology is devoted to understanding the formation and dynamics of volcanoes. Volcanologist, volcanologist. What do we think about letter G? Makes most sense, right? If they can connect boom and boom, I'm good to go. Do you understand why this one was tricky though? Because a lot of people say, I just need a good intro sentence, and they didn't even think about connecting that first one over there. This one sounds beautiful, right? Tells me some good facts. So does H. So does J. Tells me some good facts. But the thing about this one was it had to make the connection here and here. You feel better? Awesome, awesome. You guys are doing great. Listen, I know these days are not super fun and exciting, but as long as you're getting something out of it, these days are actually the most important days. They are putting the strategies we've already learned to good use. You guys okay? Awesome. Do you need to get the blood flowing for a second?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's stand up. Everybody stand up for a minute. Stand up. Even in the other room, stand up. Ooh, let's take some deep breaths. In and out. Miss Jess takes yoga. You want me to be your yoga instructor today? In and out. Get all that stress out. Y'all look so great in your gear today. I love it. Congratulations on going hard for Black History Month. It's amazing. I wish I would have known. Somebody tell me next time. Oh yeah. Okay, I am. Okay, sit. You guys feeling better? Okay. We're going to bust through the last little bit of English so we can get to reading, and then we're going to be done, okay? Let's move on to number 33. Yeah, we're going to do this one quick. This work can focus on dead and dormant volcanoes. Is that a complete sentence? Okay, I'm going to read it one more time. This work can focus on dead and dormant volcanoes. Yeah, it doesn't tell me a lot of details, but does it have every part of a regular sentence I need? Period. Right? If it's complete, what does it need? Period. What am I going to do with no change?
Cross it out.
Cross it out. Okay? But the next sentence also has to be complete, right? It can also require volcanologists to monitor volcanoes that are active or potentially reawakening. Now here's what happens. I can either go with B, because what does the semicolon really act like? A period. But this word here is going to, oh gosh. What do I do? But, okay. It doesn't like me today. Is there an easy button on this that helps me to just there we go. Woo, woo. Okay, this word right here, since, needs to actually make sense in the sentence, okay? It says, this work can focus on dead and dormant volcanoes, boom. Since it can also require volcanologists to monitor active volcanoes, if it's talking about dormant, does that mean, does dormant mean the same thing as active?
No.
They're opposite. So can I use the word since, which makes me think they're equal, if they're really opposite? That doesn't make sense, right? So what am I going to do with letter B?
Cross it out.
Womp womp, cross it out, okay? But let's come all the way down to D. Do you remember me talking about fanboys?
Yes.
Right? What do you need to have in front of fanboys if you use any of them? Comma. Comma, for, comma, and, comma, nor, blah, 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 comma, but. Did we say active and dormant are opposites? Sure. So does since make sense, or does but make sense? But. Right? If it's got a comma and a B, then it works so that I have a complete sentence here, and I can finish my complete sentence there. So I'm going to read it to you with D, and you tell me if it sounds right. This work can focus on dead and dormant volcanoes, but it can also require volcanologists to monitor volcanoes that are active or potentially reawakening. Yes. Okay, so correct answer should be D. If you missed it, it's okay. That was a hard one. Because you could have just said, oh, semicolon's a period, done, moving on. And you might have forgotten to even read the word since. Right? Okay. But this one, or comma and fanboys, will divide to complete sentences. Okay. Number 38, down towards the bottom. Ooh, this is a good one. This is one that I talked about for a brief period of time, and it's really important because you're going to see it again. As magma, liquefied rock that eventually becomes lava, builds up under the surface, blah, blah, blah. Now, we're going to talk about extra information, right? Extra information that can be pulled out has to be surrounded by what? 2 commas. Could it also be surrounded by 2 dashes? Yes. They mean the same thing, right? But can it be surrounded by a comma and a dash? No. Or a dash and a comma? No. Or a comma and nothing? No. Ah, very good, very good. So this is important for us to remember. They have to match, right? So if I said, as magma, it needs the comma, liquefied rock that eventually becomes lava, okay? I'm missing the comma, so what am I doing with no change? Cross it off. But look at G. As magma, comma, liquefied rock that eventually becomes lava, dash. Does it match? What do I do with G? Cross it off. Dash and dash, do they match? And if I were to take it out, does the sentence still make sense? Let me read it to you. As magma builds up under the surface, a volcano shape can often change. Make sense? So as long as they match, it's the best answer. Which one was the best answer? H. H. Why was J wrong? Comma in the front, but what? No comma in the back. You guys feel better? Are you going to miss that one next time on Saturday? You got it. I believe you. Okay. Let's look at number 43. 43. Okay. Has helped, is helping, helps, all about tense, right? We're just matching the tense of the paragraph. So let's go back to read it. Recent advances in technology. Recent. Yesterday? No. Today? Tomorrow? Today, right? Recent advances in technology and methods of prediction has helped? Because it's not in the past, right? Is helping? Maybe. Help, helps, maybe. So here's where we need to focus on which one is our subject. Is it talking about something that's singular or something that's plural? Here we go. Recent advances and methods. Recent advances and methods. Are these 2 words singular or plural? Plural. Plural. Recent advances help volcanologists, or recent advances helps volcanologists? Help, because it's always going to be the opposite. Advances help. Advances help. They help me. Do advances helps me? No. Do you see your ear? You got to rely on your ear. Advances help me. Or methods help me. Do methods helps me? That doesn't even make sense, right? So don't get confused. Make sure you know what the sentence is saying. Recent means today, and advances and methods tell me my verb has to be without an S. They will always be opposite. Advances and methods help me. If you can't remember that, read it to yourself. Methods helps me? No. Methods help me? Yes. So the best answer choice should be A. No change because help is fine. Are we okay? Very good. Okay. 48. 48 on the next page. This painting, however, centers on a male artist. Period. Right? Does that sound like a complete sentence? Okay, this painting, however, centers on a male artist. Does that sentence by itself have everything that I need in a sentence? This painting is my subject, and centers on a male artist is my predicate. Is it a complete sentence?
Yes.
Yes. This painting, however, centers on a male artist, period. Are we okay? If we don't know what a complete sentence sounds like at this point, we are not really prepared. Okay, it's important. A sentence needs a subject and a verb. That's basically it. If it has a subject, this painting, and a verb, centers on something, it's complete, right? So that's why we said, she wins. She is my subject, wins is my verb. Is it a complete sentence?
Absolutely.
Yes. She wins. He loses. Is it a complete sentence? Yeah, as long as you have a subject and a verb. So don't overcomplicate it, don't overthink it. You just need to know, does it have a subject, does it have a verb? Yes, this one does. So right now, would a semicolon be okay? Because this first part is complete. But the semicolon is only okay if the second part is also complete. So let's find out. Critics believe represents Vermeer himself as he paints a female model. Does that sound complete? Critics believe represents Vermeer as he paints a female model.
No.
No, that one is not complete. Critics believe represents Vermeer himself is still part of the second half of the sentence. It doesn't really give me a subject. It's talking about what they believe, but it doesn't tell me who said it. This one's tricky. This one's hard. Okay, so for right now, we have a complete sentence in the front. We have an incomplete sentence in the back. Can I use a semicolon? No, because a semicolon acts like a period and I have to have two complete sentences. I'm going to take out no change. It's not going to work, okay? Now let's see which one makes it sound better. This painting, however, centers on a male artist critics believe represents Vermeer himself as he paints a female model. If I put a comma there, it gives me a pause, but it still connects my second sentence to my first, which is what I needed because my second sentence is incomplete. What do we think about G so far?
No.
Yes, because my second sentence is incomplete, I need to connect it to the other part to make the whole thing complete, okay? If we already crossed off F because the semicolon doesn't work, then what can I also do with H? Cross it off because semicolon is the same thing as a period. Very good. Or letter J, if I read it with nothing at all, sounds like this. This painting, however, centers on a male artist critics believe represent Vermeer himself as he paints a female model. Does that make sense? Does it sound good?
Yes.
Did I even need to pause anywhere? So I'm going to read it one more time just to make sure you understand, because sometimes we overthink things. This painting, however, centers on a male artist critics believe represents Vermeer himself as he paints a female model. That sounds real good to me. So what do we think about letter J?
It's the answer.
It is right. We overcomplicated that one. Okay? You feel that one's yucky, right? That was just yucky. Okay. So let's go ahead. There were about 7 more that we were going to do, but for the sake of time, I think it's important that we move on to reading. Are you okay with that? Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and flip to the reading section, which is page 470. Page 470. Oh, work with me, work with me. Come on. with question number 2. Now, as we go over questions in the reading passage, I want you to verify, did you underline the lead words in this question that gave you where to find it in the passage? Remember, the first thing you had to do was put stars next to line references. So did you have a star on question number 2? Did you? Okay, look. Did you need a star for question number 2?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's last paragraph.
Even though it didn't give you the lines in this part, it gave you the lines in every one of the answers. Does that still count as a line reference question? So would that be one I might want to start with pretty early, right? I can easily find the answer there. Let's do it, okay? So I would have started this one, and then I would have had some lead words, right? Following statements foreshadows the joy and connection of the narrator that he feels in the last paragraph. What is the word that I just underlined? Joy. Joy. Okay, joy. Now, we're not even going to go to the passage because I'm going to read every answer choice, and I want you to listen for something that matches the word joy. Okay, it means it has to be positive. Letter F. There is a simple recipe for making rice. Is there joy in that answer choice? Nah. Okay. When I was older, he passed this task on to me, but I never did it with the same care. No. Is that joy? No. No. Cross it off. Letter H. Then he would rise, whistling, and clear the table, every motion so clean and sure, I would be convinced by him that all was well in the world. Joy? Yes. Ding, 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 ding. Okay? Or J. My father sniffed. I can do better than that, he said. You don't have to be a genius to do that. Joy? No! What is the best easy answer choice that I literally just took 15 seconds to find?
H.
If you missed it, what happened? You guessed, right? You said this is too long. But you forgot there were line references, and you forgot this little bitty simple word, joy. Do I need to sing for you?
Yes.
Just kidding. No, Miss just can't sing. I'll dance. I'll dance. I'll do a high kick for you in the last day, but I can't sing. Okay. How do you feel about number 2? Way easier than you thought, right? Yes. Good. Okay, let's move on to number 4. Number 4, these can be tricky if you are not careful. Why are these tricky? Why is number 4 tricky? Number 4 is tricky because it means there's more than one right answer, right? You could have a series of right answers because if you get any or all of these, look at my answer choices all the way at the bottom. It could be what? It could really be like 8 things, right? That seems a little bit tricky, but let's just try it. Which of the following is true of the fish? Okay, there's only one paragraph that talks about the fish. Where is it? Line 43, 44, so right over here, where it talks about my father fills the kitchen sink. Oh gosh. All right, since you can't see it up here, just follow along with me in your book. My father fills the kitchen sink. In one swift motion, he overturns the bag and the fish comes sailing out with the water. It curls and jumps. We watch it closely. Me on my tiptoes, chin propped up on the counter. The fish is the length of my arm from wrist to elbow. It floats in place, brushing up against the sides of the sink. So which is true when the fish goes into the sink? Okay, it does not respond to the narrator touching the water. Does the narrator touch the water at all? Not so much, so I don't really know about one. I don't know. I'm gonna put a check on the things that I do know, okay? Look at number 2. It is as long as the narrator's arm from wrist to elbow. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yes, it literally said that in the paragraph. What am I going to put next to it? Star. Check, star, whatever you want to do. It's true, I'm going to put it down, okay? Number 3, it looks straight at the narrator while flopping sluggishly. Did it say anything about that when it was in the sink?
Absolutely.
No. Now it said it like the paragraph before, but we're only talking about the time the fish is in the sink. So don't you put anything on number 3. And number 4, it brushes against the sides of the sink. Yes, it does. Okay, we know, the right answer has to have 2 and 4 in it. We know that. Okay, so let's look at our answer choices. Which one is the only one that has 2 and 4? G. So that means one could also be right. It doesn't respond to the narrator touching the water, which is true because the narrator doesn't touch the water. So what's the best answer choice? G. Letter G. You feel better? You put a star or a check only next to the ones that are true. You feel okay? Yes. Are you going to answer those kinds of questions better on Saturday?
Yeah.
Yep. Very good. Okay, number 9. Oh wait, we're still on this page. Okay, according to the passage, the father regarded walk with Yan as... All right, walk with Yan was actually pretty funny over here in this paragraph. Okay, if you didn't even read the passage, could you have found walk with Yan super easy?
Yes.
Why?
It's italicized.
Oh, good. So sometimes the ACT is going to give you the answer, right? They're going to tell you exactly where to find it by italicizing it. So let's just take a look. He loved cooking shows. We watched Walk with Yan. My father passing judgment on Yan's methods. I was enthralled when Yan transformed orange peels into swans. My father sniffed, I can do that, he said. You don't have to be a genius to do that. He placed a sprig of green onion in water and showed me how it bloomed like a flower. I know many tricks like this, he said, much more than Yan. Still, my father made careful notes when Yan demonstrated Peking duck. Okay, he thinks he's better than Yan, but what does it say right here? Still what?
Still.
My father made careful notes. Does he still find some part of Walk with Yan important to him? Even though he thinks he's better, he's still taking notes. That's important. Okay, let's take a look at our answer choices. According to the passage, the father regarded Walk with Yan as providing some information worthy of his attention. Did he take notes? What do we think about letter A?
Might be the...
Could be right, okay? Irrelevant to an accomplished chef like himself? Well, maybe because he had said, I can do that, but you forgot the most important part that said he still took notes. If he thought it was irrelevant, would he have continued to take notes? No. So what do we do with B? Cross it off. Okay, it left out something important. The primary source of his cooking methods? No, he was already talented. Over here in all this business, you've already read, he knew how to cook. Okay, so that's not his primary method. Or D, the funniest cooking show on television. Did he say, oh, haha, this is so great? What do we do about B? Cross it out. Okay, you feel better about why A was the best answer choice? You good? Okay, we're going to flip it to the next one. By the way, how many of you picked passage 1 to do first that Saturday? Does anybody remember? Was that one a pretty easy one to start with?
Yes.
Fiction? Yeah, if you like fiction, that's a good one. Okay, did anybody pick passage 2 to start with last Saturday, or 2 Saturdays ago? You know why? Okay, good. Passage 2 is a lot of information, and if you don't like farming or chemical names, what are you probably going to do? Okay, and if you do that, that's totally fine. Save it for last. No big deal. If you don't have time to do it, what do you do? Okay? But we're still going to try it. We're going to go over it. Number 12. Oh, by the way, passage 2 was also difficult because how many passages in one? 2 in 1. So I told you, start with the passage that has the most questions. Passage A, 1, 2, 3, 4 questions. Passage B, 1, 2, 3. So which one do we start with? Passage A, okay? Be sure that you do that on this Saturday as well. All right, number 12 says, according to passage A, one reason for the development of chemical fertilizers was that, okay, I'm going to read to you a certain part right here that says, with the start. With the start of World War II, there was a tremendous increase in nitrogen production, mainly because nitrogen is a principal ingredient in explosives. After World War II, the need to manufacture war munitions was replaced with the need to restore food supplies. No longer did they need to make explosives. The war was over, but they still had to produce food, right? And was nitrogen an important use in farming techniques? Yes. So let's look at our answer choices for number 12. The United States needed a practical use for nitrogen left over after the war. No, it doesn't say there was an excess of it. It says it was replaced to use it for a different purpose. Okay, so we're not going to go with F. There was not an excess. Letter G, wartime industry created a way to mass produce the components necessary for the fertilizer. Maybe. G, soldiers coming home from the war were able to return to their jobs as chemists. Did it say that the soldiers were the chemists? No, not really. Or J, farming practices provided crucial technologies which allowed nitrogen production to expand dramatically. They originally used it for the war, and then they were able to expand its use when the war was over to mass produce food. What do we think about J? Ding, 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 ding. All right? Do you wish that you had me to be able to give you this explanation on Saturday?
Yes.
I know. Me too. But I want you to think about what I'm saying in your head on Saturday so that maybe it will help you pick the right answer. Right? Are you guys okay? You're doing good. We have time for one more. One more. Let's try. Oh, I want to pick a good one. I think I'm going to move on to the next passage. Yes. Let's try number 26. Let's try number 26, okay? According to the passage, are we going to start with this question possibly? Even though it's not a line reference question, is this still a good one to do now?
No.
What does this first part say?
According to the origin.
So if I followed Miss Just strategies, and she told me to underline lead words in the question and in the paragraph, and it says according to the passage, am I going to be able to go directly to the passage where I underlined a lead word and find this answer? Yes. If it says according to the passage and it doesn't give you a line reference, that was your job to give yourself a line reference by underlining a lead word. So let's look at it. My lead word in this sentence, the only one would have been what? Reminisces. Okay? If I was going back and starting to read this, after I underlined all my lead words in the questions, if I went back and started to underline lead words in the passage, ding, 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 ding. The only time reminisces is mentioned is in paragraph number 3. Do I now have the exact place to find my answer? How easy was that, right? Okay, so here we go. Miss Neruda reminisces is related to his autobiography. Here's what it says. Creating disguises as well as revealing secrets. Which answer choice literally says exactly what the passage just told me?
H.
Right here. Creates disguises and reveals secrets. Was that the easiest question you could have ever answered on this test? Yes?
Yes.
Right? Okay, so if it says according to the passage, that's your job to underline the lead words so you know exactly where to look. Can you do that for me on Saturday? Okay, let's talk real quick. English reading after today. Show me your thumbs on your confidence level for Saturday. For real, for real? Even if you're like this, I'll take it. I just don't want anybody to be like this. Are we good? Oh, I'm so proud of you. Do you have homework tonight?
No.
No. But what should you maybe do between now and Saturday? Maybe study a little bit, some of this information, or if there was a question I didn't go over. But before you go, very important, listen to me carefully. I need everybody's Scantron stacked up and sent to the front because I have not entered them into my data system. So Scantrons, if you put them up, get them back out, send them up to me, okay? I'm going to keep them for one more session. I'll pass it back to you on Thursday to keep, okay? Scantrons, pass them up to the front. Grab the highlighters, leave them on your desk. I'm very proud of your hard work today. Oh, you're right. Don't worry about it. On to this now. We're going to go over math and science on Thursday. So you'll have a better idea of how you did Thursday. Good job. Good job. Oh, thank you so much. Excellent. Guys, I seriously am so proud of you. Did you stay awake today? No. Great job. Great job.
You stare at the
Nah, bro. You're gonna know. Stare. Come on, do it. Show them.
Yes. If you have time to take it today, I will do that. She knows how to do it. Oh, yeah. Leave it to Very good. Oh, good. Okay, awesome. Y'all have a great day, guys. Bye.